The journey of humanitarian aid into Gaza begins far before the border crossing. Hundreds of trucks laden with flour, canned goods, and medical supplies form massive convoys stretching miles into the Egyptian desert, or parked in vast holding lots near Kerem Shalom. This isn't just a simple traffic jam, it is a complex geopolitical bottleneck. For the families inside the strip, every hour a truck sits idle is an hour of increased hunger. Understanding what happens when these trucks finally move requires looking past the headlines and into the grueling logistics of a high-risk humanitarian corridor where demand always outpaces the slow trickle of supply. Before a single pallet enters Gaza, it must undergo a rigorous, multi-stage inspection process. Security teams at Kerem Shalom use advanced scanners and manual checks to ensure no dual-use items, materials that could be repurposed for military use, are hidden among the aid. This process is exhaustive. Prohibited items can range from specific construction materials to certain types of batteries or medical oxygen tanks. If a single disputed item is found, the entire truck may be turned back, forced to return to the end of the line. This meticulous screening is a primary driver of the slow pace of delivery. Once cleared, the trucks enter a no-man's-land transition zone. Here, the process often involves a complex offloading and reloading maneuver known as back-to-back transfer. Egyptian or Israeli trucks bring the goods to a central yard, where they are moved onto Gazan-registered trucks driven by local drivers. This handover is a critical vulnerability point. The coordination between international agencies and local transporters must be perfect, yet it is often hampered by communication blackouts and shifting security protocols. It is the moment the aid officially enters one of the most dangerous environments on Earth. After leaving the border gates, the trucks must navigate the lawless corridor. In many areas, the local police force has been neutralized, leaving the convoys without official security escorts. This creates a vacuum filled by desperation. The first few miles inside Gaza are often the most precarious. Trucks must navigate narrow roads where visibility is low and the risk of being diverted is high. International aid organizations report that the lack of deconfliction, guaranteed safe passage from military forces, makes every mile a gamble for the drivers who risk their lives to deliver these essentials. When the trucks reach populated areas, the reality of the humanitarian crisis becomes visible. Thousands of people, many who haven't had a full meal in days, often surround the slow-moving vehicles. This is not looting in the traditional criminal sense. It is a manifestation of extreme survival instinct. When a truck slows down for a crater in the road, people may climb aboard to secure bags of flour before the truck reaches a warehouse. For aid workers, this presents an impossible dilemma: how to maintain order and ensure equitable distribution when the crowd's needs are immediate and overwhelming. For the trucks that do reach the warehouses, the last mile of distribution begins. Aid agencies like UNRWA or the World Food Program attempt to organize systematic handouts based on registration lists. However, with infrastructure crumbling, this is increasingly difficult. Fuel is a precious commodity. Without it, the smaller vans used for local delivery cannot run. Furthermore, the 20% of aid that comes through private commercial channels often ends up in local markets at hyper-inflated prices, creating a two-tier system where the poorest are left waiting for the dwindling supplies of free NGO aid. The physical environment of Gaza poses a constant threat to aid delivery. It is estimated that over 60% of buildings have been damaged or destroyed, and the roads are no different. Convoys must often navigate around massive craters or piles of rubble that can snag axles and pop tires. There are no repair shops or easy ways to recover a broken-down truck. If a vehicle stalls, its cargo is often distributed on the spot because it cannot be protected. The physical destruction of the city itself has become one of the greatest barriers to humanitarian relief. The reality of aid in Gaza is a story of a massive gap. While international standards suggest that 500 trucks per day are needed to sustain the population, the actual number frequently fluctuates far below that target. Every truck that arrives is a victory of logistics and courage, But until the bottlenecks at the border are cleared, security is guaranteed for convoys, and infrastructure is repaired, the humanitarian response will remain a desperate race against time. The trucks are moving, but for the millions waiting in the ruins, the question remains, will enough of them arrive in time?